Good morning to you.
Good to see you.
State of affairs. What do you think the chances are that, there's a couple things going on here. There's the getting around SALT, given that SALT doesn't seem to be moving. And then I want to get into the bigger issue. I don't know if it's a bigger issue or not, of what may happen with the billionaires tax and a corporate sort of minimum tax. But let's start with SALT. What do you think is realistic, really?
I think we have a real shot of restoring SALT in some way this Congress. As you know, we passed it 3 times in the last couple of years, and about a year ago was our last time getting out of the House. It keeps dying in the Senate. But what's changed now is in 2.5 years, the 2017 tax hike bill will roll off, and SALT will come back fully, which is great for states like Jersey and New York. The question now is if we wanted to come back before the 2.5 years, sometime in this Congress, we'll have to sit down and make a deal. We're open to have those conversations. We relaunched the SALT caucus this week, including 10 Republican members of Congress who are part of that caucus who want to restore SALT, right? So when you have a 4-seat majority, as you know, when you have 10 members, 10 Republican members, you got a lot of power, put aside all the Democrats you have as well. So I think that's why we're actually, we feel good about the fact that we can really drive a hard bargain right now. And that's where we are.
Well, by the way, Robert Frank actually put together a fascinating report earlier this week about a number of states where if you have an S corporation, you have managed actually in the states, given the way the state laws have been written, to effectively get around that SALT tax. Do you advocate for that, or do you think of that as sort of an unseemly way to solve this conundrum or problem that you're trying to solve?
I'm for doing anything to make life more affordable for people and keeping jobs and people in the state of Jersey, right? So anything we can do to lower taxes, you know how I feel about what they did in 2017. So with the red states, trying to rip us all off here and do well by themselves at our expense here in the blue states. So my feeling is anything we can do to make life more affordable, folks, we should do, including in 2.5 years getting the deduction back fully, or trying to work something out now. The key is keeping people, and we were just talking about Exodus, the key is keeping people in Jersey, and that means, and jobs in Jersey, and that means making life more affordable.
Congressman, what did you make of President Biden's State of the Union speech, and specifically his lines around a billionaires tax, and how, he talked about it broadly, 15%, reads very much sort of like a Buffett rule that President Obama tried to propose in 2011. Of course, that didn't go anywhere either. And part of the big question is, once you get into the details, how something like this works. Are we talking really about a wealth tax or something else?
Well, you just brought up the exact point. It's the details, and we haven't seen any details. Right now, it's just a line in the State of the Union. And the other point that was made is I think, given it's a Republican Congress, any proposals like that are dead on arrival. I think we really should be focusing on, implementing what we passed and got into law, going after tax cheats and corporate minimums, what we did that are already in law, but also dealing right now with the urgent crisis, which is the debt ceiling. To me, that is front and center. That could have a huge impact on our economy if this is not handled well. And it's why in the Problem Solvers Caucus, a group of us have been focused around the clock on what we do to protect the full faith and credit of the United States and people's 401ks and savings. God forbid this train goes off, derails and takes the country's full faith and credit with it.